So let's move on to item E. Adopt resolution accepting the avenues 1-1 and 1-2 sewer and water main replacement project as complete, authorizing the filing of the notice of completion with the San Mateo County Recorder's Office, and authorizing release of the construction contract retention in the amount of $327,416. And we're going to go to Council Member Medina. Vice Mayor Medina. Apologies.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Medina. It gets a little confusing, I understand. Well, tonight's a perfect example. You know, here we have an item, it's on consent. We had a project of almost $8.6 million that got done for $7.2 million. How often does a government project get done under budget by 15.8%? It takes a lot of work. Takes and I would like to thank staff, and this is an example of how water and sewer services to a portion of our community, they're absolutely brand new. And not only that, there are curb ramps installed. There is new pavement. Florida Avenue was one of the worst streets in San Bruno. And now it's a newly paved street with the invisible water and sewer system underneath, right? $7.2 million, right? So it's messy when you're replacing an existing water and sewer system. When you're putting in a brand new water sewer system in a brand new development, it's really easy. There's nothing in the way. So wonderful job, staff. In the future, I would ask that updates on the construction activity be provided. What happens is typically the sewer gets installed and then the workers leave and the residents don't really know, like, okay, they left, but they didn't fix the street. And then months later, the crews come back again and rip up the street. They put it in the water and the street's not all paved. And then finally, everything gets done. So if we can get an update on the remaining construction projects that are occurring, the active construction projects that are occurring with status and completion dates, estimated completion dates, I think that would be helpful for people to understand and to really appreciate that this is what it's going to take to replace water and sewer in an old city. So thank you, staff, for a job well done.
Thank you. Councilmember Mason.
Yeah, I'm echoing Councilmember Medina's comments. I highlighted here a cost savings of $1,361,376, and that just brings a big smile to my face because we are in such a precarious situation right now with our finances. And so according to the staff report, $715,345 will be returned to the Wastewater Enterprise Fund and $646,031 to the Water Capital Fund. So just a huge thank you, and I hope that these savings do come to the council as they occur, because it's just really good news to share. Thank you.
Thank you. And the news will come because it is required, and there are contract changes, which we put in some time ago. But yes, when we close them out, they do come back to council as they had not in the past. And to the public, I will go through the last item, and then I'll open it up for the public just so we have at least covered all the items. Okay, item G, adopt resolution approving amendment 1 to the employment agreement between the City of San Bruno and Javodi Grogan, City Manager. This is if those remember when the City of Bell did their things, there are some changes to the law. So I'm going to read from the following that is a requirement. And this is what I will be reading. So understand that's why I'm looking down so I get every word correct. Based on the agreement with the city manager, pay adjustments are reviewed annually and are dependent on various performance factors. Council met multiple times in closed session with the city manager and determined that the amendment agreement is fair and equitable based on performance and labor market comparisons. The contract amendment provides for the same buyout options for management and vacation leave as department heads. The amendment also brings the city manager from 12% below the median of comparable cities with the San Mateo County, based on the 2021 survey, with a salary increase of 6%, $258,203, effective the first pay period of January 2021. The city manager remains 6% below peers within the county. So that's something, I know it's wordy, but needs to be read. But at this time, before I open it up to the public, I want to turn to our city manager, and who has follow-up to this item and a comment, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council, and to members of the public. So I asked the Mayor to speak on this item because I wanted to share a few words, and I know that this is typically not typical. So I want to thank the Mayor for allowing me to do this. First, I really want to thank the City Council for the conversations we had, recognizing where my compensation sits in comparison to my peer city managers in the county, and taking the bold action to offer an increase, knowing that where we are financially, I can't be brought on par. So I really want to thank you for that and that political courage. I also want to say that everybody that knows me knows that I don't do this job for the compensation. I am deeply committed to what we're doing here in San Bruno. I am deeply committed to every last member of the city team. And I am so proud of the work that we have done. And, frankly, given where we are financially as an organization, and given the financial challenges that continue to confront us with COVID-19, I do want to proffer a change here should the City Council be amenable. And I want to take the action to sort of unilaterally postpone the salary increase a full year. So instead of taking effect January 1, 2021, push that out a full year to the first pay period in January of 2022. No retro, no back pay, just a full pushing out of that salary plan section of the amendment. And so I want to thank you and to all members of the team. We say it internally, one city, one team, and we're all in this together.
Thank you, City Manager. I'll have to check with the attorney, but my understanding is that council, if wishing to accept that from the city manager, can make that modification. We do not need to separately pull it and vote for it. You correct me, but as long as we give direction that can be modified, we don't need to have it come back with a new resolution. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. The City Council approves the request to extend the salary portion of the amendment for a year. We'll reflect that in the amendment to the contract before it's finalized and signed.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'd like to open it to the public, and obviously it can be on any item on consent since we've gone through a lot. So, City Clerk, if you would.
Yes, we have Paul Wapensky.
Good evening. I'd like to talk about the city manager raise. The median income in San Bruno is $133,479. Lots of people are out of work. We just cut $8 million from the budget. We raised the sales tax. I'm sure Recology is going to come for more money soon. Yet the council is going to approve a 6% increase in the city manager's salary. That's $84,000 more than our congresswoman makes, and $21,000 more than the Vice President of the United States, as a perspective. Every council meeting talks about how bad our finances are, and he just came out and he said he doesn't work for the money. Then maybe we should spend that money on people who need it. I don't begrudge him any, not making a good salary, and he seems to do a good job for the city. He's on top of what's going on. But I asked the five members of the council, how can you possibly justify a 6% pay raise to someone making almost double the median income in a time when so many people are either don't have employment, are not getting a salary, and not getting salary increases at all? Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Yes, the next speaker is Shabina Hussein. I'm trying to unmute you. Shabina, I'm unable to unmute you on my end. Are you able to unmute yourself?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize what I did. I didn't mean to say anything. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no problem.
No problem. Thank you.
The next speaker will be Stephen Seymour.
Sandra Perez Vargas here. I wanted to commend the city manager for foregoing that raise. I mean, the words on the street were like, how could this even be a consideration at a time like this when we're just financially doing so bad. Our city is visibly deteriorating. We see the litter every day. Not to mention, I mean, this is what I'm being told. People who will not be receiving salary increases will be the local 856 employees and local 350 mid-management employees. Also, the rec department is running with just 2 coordinators. There's a hiring freeze for the rec supervisor and senior center coordinator. In the parks department, I've been told that 3 employees retired early, so 3 others would not be laid off. 7 parks workers for 14 parks, 12 baseball fields and 2 football fields. That's a lot of work, and I'm not sure if this is correct, but my understanding is that in July 20th, during a hiring freeze, that an assistant was hired for the city manager. So I think it's we really need to look where our money is going and to spend it as wisely and as fairly as possible. There's a lot of people out there suffering, and there will definitely be a lot of really bad feelings if this raise were to take place. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, please.
The next speaker will be Trish, Teamsters 856. Just one moment while I bring you in.
Hi, council members. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, council members. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I'm Trish with Teamsters 856, and I'm just calling to reiterate my comments that I sent in earlier and asking that before these raises go through, that we do take a look at your city workers, who we represent. Every city worker in the city of San Bruno have done a lot to sacrifice their own wage freezes, froze their wage increases. They've work to help keep the city open and thriving throughout this pandemic to provide to the residents, so that they're not forgotten through this pandemic, and that we make sure that when the economy is better, that we also restore our members and these workers who have worked so diligently through this and put their own health and safety at risk before we give increases to the city manager.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next speaker, please.
The next speaker is Jeffrey Tong.
Hi, this is Jeffrey Tong speaking. Again, I'm one of the others that want to thank the city manager for foregoing his increase this year. For $258,000, 6% is about $15,000, enough to support one starving person who's unemployed. With so much trash in the city, I've been asking the city council, let's look at the possibility of maybe hiring some homeless people to help clean up the streets and maybe even help them with housing, whatever it might be. But as they say, with adopting a dog or something, you may not change the whole world by adopting a dog, but you change the whole world for that one dog. And so I'm not comparing people with dogs, but nevertheless, you can change one person's life with that one salary increase. So thank you, Jovan Grogan for forestalling your increase in salary. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your comments. Being no other public comment on consent, I'm going to bring it back to council. Again, everything could be taken in one action, and if we wish to concur with the manager's request, that can be done simply by modifying that as we take full action. So, I'm sorry, Councilmember Mason.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I had this written, and I just actually added a little something based on City Manager Grogan's comment, but I just wanted to thank Trish for her public comment on behalf of the San Bruno team that represents Teamsters Local 350 and Local 856 and the others who called in for public comment. I think it's important to highlight some of the movement that San Bruno has really seen in this past year. I'm focusing on this past year because I've seen it myself in revenue generation under the leadership of our city manager. When combined and implemented, these are all on their way to place San Bruno in a better position than where we are and where we have been. So in 2020, we as a city entered into the Walmart participation agreement that's going to provide approximately $3 million to the city of San Bruno on an annual basis. The transit occupancy tax, also known as TOT, went on the ballot and was approved by the voters. The cannabis tax was placed on the ballot, was also approved by the voters. There's also been a creation and adoption of the short-term rental ordinance that was approved in 2020 and currently underway. Amongst these very impactful decisions in 2020, we're also moved and directed the staff to continue to negotiate the Bay Hill Plan, which is supposed to bring in approximately $60 million in fees to the city of San Bruno. We also saw the use of the Measure K funds actually being implemented with the plans, the designs, the procurement, all done by the city under the city manager's leadership to actually improve the bleachers and the Tom Lehrer fields along with the Lions Club. So tonight we just heard the item around the cancellation of the water and sewer rate hikes. The last meeting, we agreed to consider foregoing any CityNet cable internet rate increases and agreed to have staff make a request to Recology to forego an increase in 2021. This is all being done to assist not those who can afford to pay these impacts, but those who are really living on the margins. We also did not provide increases to Local 350 and Local 856. So it only makes sense that the city manager would also forego his increase in 2021. Finally, I just really want to thank City Manager Grogan. This was not expected for making something that seemed really so unattainable for 7 years more beautiful by such a simple fix. And this is really these moments that make our city manager so valuable. With just putting grass at Florida Park, it really alleviated the blight for the entire neighborhood who has been living with that for 7 years. As we continue to create the foundation of financial stability and strong governance, I look forward to seeing what the next year brings to San Bruno under your leadership, City Manager Grogan. It has been an amazing year, and I thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you.
Councilmember Hamilton, you did have your hand up, but then it went down. So,
mostly because Councilmember Mason said what I wanted to say so much more eloquently than I was going to. So I will shorten my statement to commending the city manager for this action.
Anything else from the Vice Mayor or Council Member? If Vice Mayor Medina.
I'd like to say thank you. I look forward to working with our city manager and we're getting a lot of stuff done. And thank you for taking this position and thank you for deferring an increase like all our other employees. So, thanks.
Councilmember Salazar?
I'll also echo what's been said and offer my appreciation to the city manager for this gesture and for all his hard work over the past couple of years. We have seen a lot of progress, and I think this was the right thing to do, and I appreciate his effort make things right and make sure that that fairness and equity is well represented. And with that, I think we've heard.
Hold on. Can the mayor say something, and then I'll throw it back to you?
What?
Just so we all have a chance. No, just wanted to say, Vice Mayor Medina was, and so was I, former city employees. So, at times when people are, whether it was back then when we had furloughs or whatever, or when we took a freeze so we didn't have other situations arise, it's important. And we acknowledge the employees of 856 and 350 that do the job, come to work, and have worked through all these challenging times. And also, city manager, you are responsible for the day-to-day operations. So I appreciate you leading by example and asking for this to be deferred. And yes, it is uncharacteristic for the manager to speak, but I appreciate our conversation, and I thank you for your comments. So with that, Councilmember Salazar.
All right, so with that, I will make a motion to approve the consent calendar with the modifications to the minutes recommended by Councilmember Mason and the modification to the city manager's contract as stated by the city manager.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Salazar, seconded by Mason. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hamilton.
Aye.
Councilmember Mason.
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Marty Medina.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Rico Medina.
Aye. Okay, thank you for everyone.